You watch Your Morning Live. It's great to have you with us this morning. Thanks for tuning in. Yesterday's violence in Soweto ended in 2 deaths as protesters raided foreign-owned shops. Consumers believe that these shop owners get their supplies from backyard factories where unhealthy food products are manufactured and then sold to unsuspecting spaza shop customers, a matter that has been a talking point in social networks and, of course, in the media as well. The National Consumer Council says it is working on a strategy to deal with allegations and the perpetrators. Prudence Moilwa, the head of enforcement and investigation at the National Consumer Commission, is in studio with us. Good to have you.
Well, thanks you very much. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming in. So the National Consumer Commission puts out a statement saying that they're working on a strategy to deal with the allegations.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure we can still call them allegations because, you know, the food products have been seen. This is not new. Why has it had to lead to a situation what we saw happening yesterday?
Yeah. I think I would like to maybe just give a bit of a background. I'd like to say that the National Consumer Commission's core work is to conduct investigations and inspections. So on an ongoing basis, we do inspections in various provinces to ensure that there is compliance with the Consumer Protection Act. Now, this particular allegation, and we would like to still call it an allegation because concrete evidence has not been brought to the Commission. We've seen the videos in social media. We've also seen videos sent through to us as people who work for the Commission. And we've pleaded on various occasions with people who have recorded these things to approach the Commission, because if we are going to investigate properly, we will need to have concrete evidence in order to really know that this is actually coming from South Africa. But we have no doubt.
Now, I'm just going to pause you for 1 second there and ask you, so even after the allegations, even after what you saw unfolding yesterday, not a single person from the Commission actually went out there physically yesterday to check the stock? No one went there?
We have been going out, but we didn't particularly go into this one because we realized that it was the looting. It wasn't necessarily to check compliance with the products because the situation had already gotten out of hand. Our responsibility is to check the products with regard to their labeling, as well as to check whether they have expired or not. So the situation in Soweto yesterday actually required the intervention of the police, not the Commission, because the members of the community were looting the facilities and the stores.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know it's not the responsibility of the Commission, but at the end of the day, these allegations are all about the fact that they're selling fake goods, and things that have already expired. So that is the Commission's responsibility to go there and make sure that you have the physical evidence.
I agree. And as I said, we're working on strategies. What we're going to do, and I think with immediate effect, I think starting from yesterday, our inspectors have been going out to other areas within Gauteng to check if indeed the allegations are true. In some, yes, we are finding that increasingly there are those expired goods, but the fake goods so far we have not been able to identify. So that is why it's very important for the Commission to work on a factual basis. So we really need to establish the truthfulness, the veracity of the information is very, very important. That's why we appeal to the communities to bring the information forward so that the Commission can act on it.
Yeah. So these random checks that you do and the spot checks, how often do you conduct them?
Look, on a quarterly basis, we target a province. So throughout the year, we would make sure that we touch all the provinces in South Africa. While we do not just focus on foodstuffs, we also focus on second-hand motor vehicles. As you are aware, the Consumer Protection Act is a law of general application. So there are various areas that we deal with. When we work on food products like the current situation, we will then work with environmental health practitioners in the local municipalities to make sure that we put our efforts together in ensuring that we are very successful.
Yeah, you know, it is worrisome, and I know that a lot of people don't check the expiry date. You don't. You know, you assume that. And it's wrong of us, obviously, as a consumer. We need to be a little bit more aware as to what we're doing. And, you know, you don't turn the product on and look at the expiry date, which is, it should automatically be that way. We should look at that.
Of course.
However, the health department saying that they have had a high volume of complaints that expired food is being sold. You yourself were saying that this seems to be on the increase, and yet it's not being targeted, it's not being controlled. Don't you think you should be doing more as the Consumer Council? I mean, this is your duty.
Of course, we can always do more. I agree with you that we need to now increase our strategies around this. As you are aware, we are now on the verge of closing out on the product recall for the listeriosis products. So the Commission has been very instrumental regarding that. Now, this emerging problem, and I agree that it has been there for some time, the inspections regarding the labeling of products is ongoing. I think since inception, we've been doing it throughout the year. I think if there is one area that the Commission has focused on over the years is the food products and the labeling and ingredients labeling. So we just need, I think, now to focus more on the spaza shops as you would have it, that we check that they do it, because our focus has not necessarily been on the spaza shops.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I myself, we're going to take a break now and continue the conversation, but I have been to places where, you know, I'll go to these outlets where, you know, they'll say, oh, you can get cheap sweets here, you can get all of this stuff. And I thought, okay, let me go and give it a try. Go there. And these are the outlets, obviously, that these spaza shop owners buy their goods from. You go there, they're having a massive special on chocolates and different pastas and sweets and whatnot. And then I turn around and I look at the back and it's all expired goods. And they're selling it openly to as mass consumers. Now, surely you know that. I mean, surely you go there and put your foot down on these people and fine them or do whatever you're meant to do as the Commission. They can't be selling these goods. And I myself know that it's happening. Yeah. Surely you know it's happening.
Yeah, we do know that it's happening.
So what are you doing about it?
Last year, the Commission actually targeted a company in Cape Town that specializes in selling expired goods. And if you can recall, there was, you know, conflicting views from various scientists who say that expired goods are not necessarily harmful. They might not be as fresh as the new ones, but they might not be harmful. And the view of the Commission, even back then, was that we should not be having this kind of product sold in the markets. And we felt very strongly, that's why the investigation against that particular company is still ongoing, because the Commission feels very strongly that even though health experts around the issue are divided, there is a need for us to really target at this. And also, consumers need to talk to the Commission about their experiences, because they have rights of recourse when it comes to if they've ingested this type of products and there are, you know, harm or sicknesses that arise from this.
All right, we're going to take a very quick break. And when we come back, I also want to talk about the Consumer Protection Act and what's happening there, because it seems it's taking far too long. But let's take a break. You can get hold of us at Morning Live SABC. We'd love to hear your views on this conversation as well. Do stay tuned.